With spring right around the corner, maybe you like me, you're excited to get out for longer walks and runs, pick up a new book to read outside, or just get out and explore new neighborhoods and food. Or we could do all three wrapped in one. Our friends over at Read and Run Chicago are expanding to nearby Lamont for 3 different meetups. The group is like a combination running club, book club, and neighborhood tour, and each route in Lamont is about 3 miles paired with a different book from Pat Kamalier's Coratazi Historical Mystery Series. Afterwards, you'll get to sit down with the author and historian and sample some food from local restaurants. The first run is Saturday, March 23rd. Spots are limited and are going to go fast, so register now at readandrunchicago.com or find the link on their Instagram at readandrunchicago. Today on CityCast Chicago. On Saturday, the city will dye the river green once again in honor of St. Patrick's Day. We've been doing it for so long, maybe you've never stopped to ask why or how. So, what do we know about the Green River? We're going to take a little quiz to find out. It's Thursday, March 14th. I'm Jacoby Cochran, and this is What Chicago's Talking About. I'm here with executive producer Simone Alicea. What's up, Simone?
Hey, Jacoby.
And producer Michelle Navarro. Welcome back to the mic.
Hey, Jacoby.
Simone, you've come up with a little trivia quiz for us to test our knowledge about this Chicago tradition. Mostly because, again, a lot of us don't know how the river is dyed. And we wonder, me personally, I'd be a little tapped out every year. So, Simone, how is this game going to work to enlighten us?
Right. Well, this is the thing. This is a story that has been told several times before. We are not the first.
Yeah. We do this. We go through it every year.
Every year we hear it. And so, I want to know if through osmosis, a couple of native Chicagoans really remember the details of how and why Chicago dyes the river green. So I have come up with a few questions. I have assigned them point values based on how complicated they are and various other arbitrary things. I'm going to ask the question. First person to say buzz, have a chance to answer. And if you get it right, I will assign you all or some of the points, depending. And I will also employ the whimsy point. So if you say something that I think is funny or that I like, I'm going to give you points. We'll tally it up at the end, and we'll see who's victorious. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. Question number 1. Can either of you tell me what was the first year Chicago dyed the river green?
Buzz.
Yes.
1962.
It was 1962, Jacoby. Have you been reading?
Nah, osmosis, like you said. I just been siphoning this information.
Okay. That's 5 points to you, Jacoby. Can either of you tell me, first question number 2, whose idea was it to dye the river?
Buzz.
Yes, Michelle.
Stephen Bailey.
Yes.
Stephen
Can you
Bailey,
tell me,
yeah.
for the full 10 points, can you tell me who Stephen Bailey is, or who he was, rather?
The Plumbers Union.
Yes. You got there. That is a full 10 points.
Some people might remember the name Stephen Bailey from our conversation with Monica Ang when we talked about Chicago's history of lead pipes, because his position in the Plumbers Union and his friend who he grew up with, the mayor at the time, Mayor Daley, the Bailey-Daley connection is one of the reasons that lead pipes were so prolific around the city of Chicago.
Well, the Bailey-Daley connection is also the reason Chicago dyes the river green. Basically, it was Bailey who came up with the idea to dye the river after seeing it on, he had seen it on some plumber's clothing. He saw the green color. And he's like, let's call up the mayor. Daley originally wanted to dye part of Lake Michigan, but that was determined that was going to be too big of an undertaking. So Bailey suggested...
Not as easy to control as the river.
Yes, Bailey suggested doing the river. Question number 3. How long was the river green after the Union dumped 100 pounds of the dye in the first year? For how long? Yes.
Wasn't it like a week plus?
It was 1 week. That's a full 5 points to Jacoby.
Come on. And I think environmental groups over the years after it started, had some pushback like, all right, this was supposed to be used to find leaks in the plumbing, but now y'all using it to dye the river green. It's sitting for a week. At that point, the river was not even as close to what we know it now in terms of its sort of placement as a tourist attraction. But, it brought people out and, eventually they had to make some changes. I imagine another question will come up about that.
So for a bonus couple points, I mentioned they dumped 100 pounds in the first year and it lasted a week.
Ooh.
Can anyone tell me now how much are they dropping and how long does it last?
Buzz. I know the last part is a few hours, but I'm going to say 30 pounds.
Ooh, really, really close. You're really close. I might give you 1 bonus point. Yeah, it's about 5 hours and they drop about 40 pounds of dye. So Jacoby, as you mentioned, the formula for the dye has changed over the years. You mentioned that the dye was originally used to find wastewater in the river. So the formula for it is a very closely guarded secret. Can either of you tell me the difference between what the original dye was and what is used today for what we do know about it?
Buzz, the dye now is like a vegetable-based. I think it's orange now. I think maybe the original dye might have been green, but it was more chemical-based. I'm gonna just say.
I'm not going to accept chemical-based. I'm not going to accept that.
Either.
But you're on the right track. Yes, the current one is vegetable-based. Michelle, do you know what the original one? What kind of made it up?
I do not.
It was oil-based.
Oil-based.
Jacoby, I'm only going to give you 2 points for that. Also because you cribbed my question about tracing the wastewater in the river. Because that's what happens. Don't play yourself like that. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Game Master speaks. The City of Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection offers a free entrepreneur certificate program for future and current business owners in Chicago. Participants must complete 6 webinars within 6 months in designated webinar categories. Graduates are eligible to apply for the CIBC Bank USA Entrepreneur Loan Program, a bank partner with BACP. The long-standing program was created to support startup or early-stage small businesses gain entrepreneur training with important working capital. Since the program launched, more than 1,000 Chicago entrepreneurs and business owners have successfully completed the program. Completing the process is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Number 1, register by signing up at chicago.gov/BACP certificate. Number 2, attend 6 webinars by registering for upcoming webinars at chicago.gov/BACP webinars. And number 3, graduate from the program and you'll receive your digital certificate and information on connecting with CIBC Bank USA. To learn more about the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program, please visit chicago.gov/BACP certificate.
Does Monday at the office feel like a storm? Not with Microsoft Copilot. That feeling when Copilot gets everyone up to speed instantly? It's sunny again. When Copilot simplifies complex data so your teams can act, that sun's shining on a beach. And when Copilot uncovers hidden insights, you're on that beach with your people, and you find buried treasure. That's Microsoft Copilot. Learn more at Microsoft.com/AI for all.
So Mayor Richard J. Daley, one of his signature, among his many signature things, one thing that he worked really hard to do was to clean up the river. And the dye was used to track leaks of wastewater in the river. As you mentioned, the dye that's now used, we've got our next question, is an orange vegetable-based powder, and it turns green once it churns with the water. Can either of you tell me what's the nickname that plumbers have given the substance? It is also, we're talking about St. Patrick's Day. We're talking about...
Buzz.
Okay.
Green beer.
No.
Orange beer.
No. And you get no more guesses.
Lucky Charms. Pot of gold.
Nope.
St. Patrick's powder.
Nope. Well, it's about St. Patrick's Day.
Patty's powder.
No.
2 hours later.
If it helps, Lucky Charms was probably the closest one.
Leprechauns.
Dust.
No.
Leprechaun's juice.
No, guys.
Leprechaun
Leprechaun
sauce.
powder. Leprechaun
Oh.
powder. I'm not giving that to
I got the first word, so I think I should get a point.
you.
At
Get a
least.
point. You get a point,
cool.
Michelle. You get a point for getting leprechaun, which was the operative word. I almost want to take that point away from you for saying juice when we know it's a powder, but I'm not going to do that to you because
Thank you.
I'm kind.
Leprechaun Kool-Aid.
So basically since 1962, it's been down to 2 families who have been dyeing the river, going in boats. And one of the men behind it told CNN in 2019 that the river had only ever been dyed one other color besides green. What was the color and what was the occasion?
Buzz.
Uh-huh.
Orange for the Bears.
No,
Super Bowl.
you're real close there.
Blue for the Bears for the Super Bowl.
No,
Nothing to do with the
so,
Super Bowl?
So nothing to do with the Super Bowl. It was blue, but it was for the
Blue.
Cubs winning the World Series in 2016. You should get 2 points for getting blue.
At this point, we just saying things now. You didn't
I
get
know.
hard.
I
The
know.
first one was easy. I ain't even the front. I feel like I hope people kept listening because at first it was like, I just know these answers. I'm up out of here. They just talking about the river.
Well, I tried to make them harder as we go on. I have a list of 5 other cities that dye waterways
That's fire. That's a good,
in different
good question already.
in different capacities. Can you name me any of them? You get 1 point for each city that you name.
Buzz.
Yeah.
Boston.
No. At least it's not on this
Buzz.
list. Yes.
Philadelphia.
No. Again, also not on this list. If Boston people or Philly people want to come into the comments, they can. But it's not on this list that I have.
Buzz.
Yes.
Sacramento.
No.
Buzz. Austin.
No. 1 city in the Midwest. We have 1 city on the East. We have 2 southern cities and 1 sort of southwestern city.
Birmingham.
No. Birmingham. No.
Cleveland.
No.
Cincinnati.
No.
Des Moines.
No.
No, let us keep doing this, G. This is great. Minneapolis.
No.
And the Twin Cities.
No.
Green Bay.
No.
That no was like I'm getting closer.
It's
Madison.
possible. It's possible these cities do something.
Sure.
But
We talking
again,
about your list.
this
We
is
got
just the
this. We
list
got
that I
this.
found very quickly.
3 hours later.
Indianapolis.
There it is. That's one.
All right, there's one. Cool.
So Indianapolis,
South, 2 in the South, 1 in the East, 1 in the West.
1 in the Southwest. Yeah.
San Antonio.
San Antonio, yes. San Antonio has been dyeing the River Shannon since 1968. If you go look at pictures, theirs is a much darker, deeper green than ours. Indianapolis has been dyeing a portion of its downtown canal also for a while.
In the South. Shreveport. No.
No.
New Orleans.
No.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa has dyed parts of the Hillsborough River green within the last decade, and they also use an orange powder to do it. This is the best part of the whole podcast. So you guys just naming cities.
Montgomery.
No.
Atlanta.
No. Now you're in the state, though. Mike Pence went there for St. Patrick's Day in 2018.
Savannah.
Yes! I can't believe that helped.
I didn't know that. I just looked at a map of Georgia.
So here's the fun fact about Savannah. So Savannah actually tried to dye its river the year before Chicago did. They tried to do it in 1961, but it dissipated really quickly. They didn't really like the results. And so now they dye their fountains green for St. Patrick's Day, several fountains.
So we have 1 left in the east.
In the east.
Baltimore.
No, but you're close.
DC.
Yes. DC, the White House dyes the fountain green for St.
Got
Patrick's Day. So I think that's Jacoby 3, Michelle 2 on this question. It's a tie. It is a tie. Jacoby has 13 points. Hey, EP Simone Alicea here, just popping in after the recording to say that I'm sure some of you who were listening closely noticed that Jacoby actually had way more than 13 points. I totally misadded, but this is why we fact check. So we're just going to keep this going anyway. Okay, so I have a tiebreaker question.
Of course you do.
The whole reason, the why behind why do we dye the Chicago River green? It's because there's a lot of Irish heritage in Chicago. Fundamentally, at the time, you had the mayor and also the business manager for the plumbers union. But we have a lot of Irish heritage in the city. So, according to WTTW, how many people in Chicago are estimated to have Irish heritage?
Whoa.
How many people?
475,000.
Maybe we'll take whoever's closer.
Maybe 275. Maybe 275. Because if we doing prices right, I feel like I got to change it.
I'll do 300. 300.
You shouldn't have gone over, Michelle. You shouldn't have gone
Come on,
over.
FanDuel.
It's
Come
about
on,
it's
take the
about
under.
200,000 people. So Jacoby is still over, but he is the closest. We won't do strict Prices Right rules. So Jacoby once again wins.
Congratulations.
But Michelle, you got that 10-point question, which really helped you. Jacoby was eking out points here and there throughout by guessing multiple times.
Now, if you want to see the Green River on Saturday, the best place to see it is on Upper Wacker between Columbus and Fairbanks. Festivities start at 10 a.m., but you might want to get there a little bit early. Also, note the lower level of the Riverwalk will be closed. We got all kinds of St. Patty's festivities on our website, chicago.citycast.fm, including neighborhood guides for the South Side and Northwest Side parades on Sunday and a list of Irish pubs to celebrate. As always, I got to give a huge thank you to our executive producer, Simone Alisea,
Thanks, Jacoby.
and our producer, Michelle Navarro. You're a great sport.
Thanks, Jacoby.
Before we let you go, for the latest news and events, head over to our website, chicago.citycast.fm. While you're there, subscribe to our daily newsletter, Hey Chicago. I got a little segment in the newsletter today with Sydney Madden. She went to the Chicago Botanic Garden. I went to the Lincoln Park Conservatory and Garfield Park Conservatory. We got some pictures and we got some tips. Of course, I ain't gonna let you go without some good news. Pi Day is today. No, not like actual pie, but pie. 3.14159-265. Well, Chicago bakeries are getting in on the fun, and our friends over at Block Club Chicago have put together a great list for you to check out. They got some good deals and maybe some spots you ain't never heard of. Hit the show notes to find the list. Wherever you're listening, whenever you're listening, it matters to us. It means a lot. So we'll talk to you tomorrow. We will talk to you tomorrow, right? No, you like to save them to the weekend and then you listen to some more? I understand that. Well, I'll talk to you next week. Peace.